If you've ever even considered starting a saltwater tank, this is going to be the video series for you. We're going to take this journey together. While I set up my very first saltwater tank, I'm going to share everything I learned and all my experiences with you. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Kev, and on this channel I like to make straight to the point, no fluff, easy to understand content to keep you learning, growing, and enjoying your aquarium hobby. And this saltwater series is going to be no different. So allow me to show you how easy it is to take the very first step into the saltwater world. You ready? Let's go. I believe that most of you considering to try saltwater already have some basic understanding of what it is to keep fish. You most likely already have a freshwater tank set up or two and are ready to level up your hobby, which is the perfect scenario to be in for what I'm about to tell you in this video. If you're not ready, don't worry. It only took me 9 years to finally try this, so no rush, okay? And if you don't have the basic aquarium keeping information, you're going to want to start with my beginners playlist right up here. Now, I know most of you have seen last week's video of the debut of the saltwater tank, and you saw a whole big installation process and a lot of equipment and possibly felt a little bit intimidated by it all. Trust me, I understand, because I was too. But I'm here to tell you that 80% of all that stuff is not necessary to transition into a saltwater tank. I already have a goal with this tank, so I'm starting with what I know I'll eventually need, but you don't have to, not at all, not even close. Generally, there are 3 types of saltwater tanks you can keep. Fish only, or FO, fish only with live rock, or fowler, or a reef tank, which basically means that you're keeping coral and fish. I am eventually planning to take my journey all the way to a mixed reef tank full of coral and fish, and I'll be documenting and educating you guys along the way as I get there. But in this very first introductory video to the saltwater world, we're starting at a very first level. The very first baby step, which is gonna be a fish only tank, or even a fowler tank like mine currently is, with rocks in there, not necessarily live rock. And since you most likely already have a freshwater tank set up, you already have many of the necessary equipment. So there's only 3 things that you need you probably don't already have to go salty. Number 1 is salt, obviously, right? The water's gotta get salty somehow. Number 2, a refractometer or any other salinity level measuring device. This is how you know how much salt is in your water.
Oh, snap!
And number 3, a big old mixing bucket, separate from the freshwater buckets you may already be using. And that's it, my friend. That's literally all you need to switch your current freshwater tank to a saltwater tank.
I can't believe it, man.
You already have the filtration, the heater, the lighting, possibly even the wave maker, even though it's not necessary. But it's literally that simple to go fish only, or in the case of a fowler tank, just add one more additional item, the live rock, obviously, right? And it doesn't even have to be live rock. You can start with base rock, but we'll get into that later. That's it. You got a saltwater tank. I told you guys I get straight to the point. Now, if you want me to elaborate, stick around, because I am determined to get you the saltwater tank you've always wanted. First, let's talk about the things you don't need right now that you probably thought you always did need. Number 1, you don't need reverse osmosis deionized water, better known as RODI water. It's basically water super filtered and stripped of absolutely everything that's in your tap water. Now, most saltwater tank veterans will tell you that you must use RODI water in a saltwater tank, but they fail to tell you that's only in the case of keeping coral in a reef tank. We're not there yet. We're keeping fish only, and your tap water dosed with a water conditioner like Chem Prime is going to be completely fine to use. So for now, don't even worry about having to buy and install a big scary looking RODI filter like this. That may or may not come down the line, okay? Remember, we're just sticking our toe in the salt water to get acclimated to this world. Funny how the tables have turned, right? Now we're getting acclimated. Number 2, expensive equipment like skimmers, dosers, or UV lights. Again, all of these have their benefits in keeping your tank clean and parameters in check, but none of them are required, especially in a fish only or a fowler tank. We're gonna start off the old school way of manually doing things until we're ready to upgrade piece by piece at our own pace with whichever piece of equipment that we feel will be the most beneficial at the time. Number 3, a sump. While many saltwater reef tanks are run with sumps, it's not a necessary piece of equipment. Beneficial? Yes. Necessary? No. Especially when keeping fish only at the beginning, your canister or hang-on back filter is gonna do just fine keeping your tank filtered and cycled. And don't even worry, yes, I will have future videos in this series covering all of these pieces of equipment and how they benefit your tank so you can make an informed choice of when you're ready to upgrade. So now that we know and have the only things that we need, how do we actually do it? Okay, you ready? Let's go. Step 1, find a new home for your freshwater guys. Either combine them into one of your other freshwater tanks, or if you only have one tank, either give them away to a friend or take them to your local fish store. They'll gladly take free fish off your hands, trust me. Step number 2, remove any decor that you don't want in your saltwater tank and do a 100% water change. Not because you can't add salt straight to the tank, but because that old water is full of nitrates and phosphates, and that's not how you want to start a saltwater tank anyway. Step 3, fill the tank back up with tap water, dose Chem Prime to dechlorinate it, and then begin adding salt directly into the tank. I'm using Aquavitro Salinity, which is a very high quality salt, only found at your local mom and pop shop. You can't find this stuff online, which is for good reason. Aquavitro is a company that highly supports the little guys and encourages us to visit and shop at our local fish stores. They are the centerpiece of keeping our hobby alive and well. And if you didn't know, Aquavitro is a sister company of Chem, so you know it's high quality stuff. Dosing measurements of Aquavitro Salinity is half a cup per 1 gallon of water. The big 35-pound bucket size makes 120 gallons of salt water. The salinity level that we're always wanting to be at is 35 parts per thousand, or an equivalent measurement is 1.026 specific gravity. They're the exact same thing, just measured by different units. The point is to keep your salinity stable at the level that does best for your tank. And I know, hearing these numbers may seem intimidating, another parameter you have to worry about and remember, but trust me, when I tell you that once you look through the refractometer a few times and you see exactly what 35 parts per thousand looks like, you'll remember it forever, no sweat, you'll never forget it. Okay, it was super difficult to get this image, but I got it. You see where the white meets the blue and it creates that line straight across? On the bar on the right, you got 35 ppt. And on the bar on the left, you got 1.026. That's what you need to see through the refractometer. Now, as far as other water parameters that we need to worry about at this point is temperature. Got to be at 78 degrees. That's it. Nothing else to worry about. Don't worry about pH or hard water or salt water. Your salt mix is going to get your tank exactly where it needs to be. Don't worry about calcium, alkalinity, magnesium, any of that stuff right now. That's far later down the line. We're not going to overcomplicate things in this series. We're taking the journey together and we'll get there when we get there. Okay, let's keep going. Now, I have to say this, adding salt directly to your tank is not the way you would normally mix salt. You're only doing it this way this time because there's no livestock in the tank. If there were, the change in salinity levels as you're adding salt is going to kill off everything. Your fish, invertebrates, coral, anything that's in there. The right way to mix salt is by grabbing your brand new big old saltwater bucket, separate bucket from your freshwater stuff, add tap water to the bucket, dose with Chem Prime to dechlorinate that water, and then add in your salt. I like to throw in a wave maker on the bottom to help get it nice and mixed up. Let it mix for 5 or 10 minutes and then store that bucket away somewhere in a closet like I do. That will be your salt water pre-mixed bucket of water ready for you to do water changes when you need it. Now, doing water changes on a saltwater tank is for the exact same reasons that you would do them on a freshwater tank. To remove nitrates, phosphates, and any other toxins that you don't want in there anymore. Also, to replenish minerals that your fish have consumed. And if and when you do finally have coral in your saltwater tank, water changes are going to be very beneficial for them for the same exact reasons and a little bit others as well. But we'll get into why water changes are beneficial for coral later on down the line. There are some very experienced, high-level reef keeping guys out there that have their tank set up so that they don't have to do any water changes at all. But that requires a lot of excess nutrient removal and a lot of dosing of minerals that are needed. I don't know if we'll ever get there in our journey, but for right now, water changing is super beneficial. I can't stress that enough. So in the situation that we're in, transitioning over to saltwater, and we don't have any livestock at all in the tank, it's okay at this point to add salt directly into the tank until you get to 35 parts per thousand. There's no livestock in there, so you're not gonna kill anything. Well, you're gonna kill your beneficial bacteria, but that's okay. That puts us right into step number 4. Step number 4 is cycling the tank. You'll have to cycle your saltwater tank all over again. Freshwater beneficial bacteria are not the same as saltwater beneficial bacteria, so you're gonna kill all that stuff off and you'll have to regrow and repopulate new beneficial bacteria. The beautiful thing is though that you can still do a fish in cycle just like we do over on the freshwater side. You can add a very hardy fish like a clownfish or 2, I've got 4 in there right now, and dose prime and stability daily until you reach 0 ammonia and 0 nitrite. Longtime veteran reefers are gonna wanna kill me for suggesting this, and I understand where they're coming from. Corals are super sensitive to ammonia and fluctuations in parameter, as well as many fish and invertebrates. So it is heavily suggested to let your tank run for months without light and without fish and allow it time to cycle to be on the safe side. Now, you wouldn't be wrong if you did it that way, the safe way, but if y'all know me, I'm gonna wanna get this tank ready as soon as possible, because the reality is we all want it now and not later. And I'm not trying to tell you to be impatient. I'm just letting you know that if you are impatient like I am, there is a way to add fish to your tank right away, day 1, day 2, prime and stability, you already know. Which is exactly what I did. Yesterday was June 1st and we installed my first ever saltwater reef tank. And today is June 2nd, 1 day later, and we're gonna add the first new saltwater fish today. This new saltwater tank got 3 new clownfish on day 2, and I've dosed prime and stability daily. And as of recording this video, the tank is now 3 weeks old and it's completely cycled, no ammonia or nitrite present in the tank. So once your tank has cycled, you can begin to add more fish nice and slow, and now you'll have the choice of all the beautiful saltwater fish in the world to choose from. Welcome, you're officially a saltwater tank keeper. Now, there is one major important factor that you have to keep in mind. One major factor that we never had to deal with over in the freshwater world, and that is the rise in salinity levels due to evaporation. Nothing to worry about though, super simple to handle. I got you covered right here. Make sure you check it out, but before you go, give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace.